Good morning, my friends. I'm Pastor Ben Hayes from First Baptist Church, Dadeville, Alabama, bringing you our thought for the day. It's actually Wednesday for me because Thursday morning I will be in Montgomery speaking at the Legislative Prayer Breakfast and then opening the House in prayer Thursday morning. So by the time you see this, I will be completed those two tasks, but I have appreciated your prayers through the week for me. But right now, I want us to jump into our passage of Scripture. We're in Romans chapter 11, verse 26. Mentioned this yesterday. Paul starts out, "And so all Israel will be saved. As it is written, the deliverer will come out of Zion, and he will turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant with them when I take away their sins." Now, I want you to understand those two verses come from two passages in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 27:9 and Isaiah 59 verses 20 and 21. And I want you to understand, as you read the context of those two passages, he's talking about judgment. And in my opinion, he's talking about the end times judgment. He's talking about what's going to take place when Antichrist desecrates the new temple that will be rebuilt in the midpoint of the tribulation period and then the following 3.5 years. And during that time, I believe, is when all Israel will be saved. They'll recognize that they have followed the Antichrist and he is not the Messiah they thought he was. They will realize what the Bible, the New Testament, has said about all of this, and they will come to know that Jesus truly was the Messiah. And I believe in that time, whether it's instantaneous on a day or over a period of time, every Jewish person on the face of the earth will come to know Jesus as Messiah because they'll recognize how wrong that they have been. And everything that God has planned will bring them to that point. Because remember what we've talked about. God says that, or Paul said that God grafted the Gentile people in to make the Jewish people jealous so that they would return to him. And now they're going to recognize what's happened. And they're going to respond to that. And one day all Israel will be saved. Now listen, does that mean that everything that the nation of Israel is doing today is absolutely good and right and holy and perfect? Absolutely not. Israel is a secular nation. Tel Aviv is one of the hot spots for the homosexual lifestyle. Understand that there are very few Orthodox practicing Jews in the nation of Israel, compared to what will happen one day. Does that mean that we have to support everything that Israel does? Absolutely not. Understand, they make mistakes. They do bad things. Now, I think that right now we need to support Israel as they continue their war on Hamas, and we need to pray for them every day as Hezbollah gets involved in this war. But that doesn't mean that every action they take is right, because understand, there are Palestinian citizens who are innocent, who are suffering in the midst of this war. But that happens in every war. I do believe that Israel is taking every precaution they can to make sure that they minimize those casualties. But understand, there needs to become a point when the victory is won and we recognize the humanitarian problem that is taking place over in the Middle East. But all of that's not going to be fixed until Jesus returns. But we must pray for the nation of Israel that they do it right and they do it well. But that doesn't mean that everything they do is right or well. So think about this. Paul is telling us the deliverer will come out of Zion and he will turn away ungodliness from Jacob. That was Jesus, the Messiah. The Jewish nation will recognize this. They will understand this at this time. For this is my covenant with them when I take away their sins. He's going to bring them back into that right relationship, graft them back in to the cultivated olive tree that is his chosen people. What a blessing that's going to be on that day. And I can't wait as we come back with Jesus when he returns in power and glory, and we see the joy of bringing together both Jew and Gentile ultimately in that last days and that eternity. What a blessing is going to be. Now look at what he says, verse 28. I'm going to finish with this. He says, concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sake, but concerning the election, they are beloved for the sake of the fathers. Concerning the gospel, what you and I have responded to, they're enemies for God's sake, so that we could be grafted in. But concerning the election, the fact that God chose from before the beginning of time, God chose the nation of Israel to be his chosen nation, and he did that for the sake of the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Noah, all those godly men and women who served with distinction as the people of God. Think about that. We're going to come together one day, and it's going to be great. Be blessed. I'll see you back here tomorrow.